Allah the Father universe.
Allah Father universe.
Father love.
Father love.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Through Ali. Amen. Please remain standing, all those who are able, for the Moorish honors and units. First shall rise, give praise to Allah. The great God of the universe. I give honor to his last prophet in these days. Prophet Noble Juali. I give honor to all true and divine prophets of Allah. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honor to Marcus Garvey, forerunner prophet Noble Juali. I give honor to the American flag, the flag of our birth, and to the Moorish flag, our decent flag, the red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center. The 5 points represented the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give honor to our divine charter, which gives us the divine and legal right to practice and promote our religion unmolested. Give honor to all past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. In succession, Brother C. Kirkman Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, and Brother J. Blakely Bay. I give honor to our past former Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother Arbor Love Hill. I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, Brother Ara Jones Bay. I give honor to the Assistant Grand Sheikh, Brother A. Hopkins Bay. I give honor to the Grand National Chairman, who's also the Grand Sheikh here at Temple 71, Washington, D.C., Brother P. Chase Hill. I give honor to all Grand Governors and Assistant Grand Governors. I give honor to Brother H. Harris Bay, Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., and to his assistant, Sister D. Jones Bay. I give honor to all national officials in their office and station. I give honor to all local officials in their office and station, all divine ministers, sheikhs and sheikhs, and all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. Give honor to all auxiliaries and the Moorish media team. I give honor to everything that the Prophet Gordon taught for the uplifting of all humanity. I give honor to all of our viewers and all of those who are listening in. I give honor to our class. Peace. Now read Salvation, our God, unity. Salvation, our God, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, true peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 and love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God alone. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Noble Drew Ali founder. Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, mailing address. MST of A, Incorporated, P.O. Box 388 20768. Thus, we've had a reading from all 7 acts of divine constitution and bylaws. We'll now have a reading from questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from their office under heavy restriction, etc., by the prophet or the grand sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, she'll be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she, according to love, true peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Peace. Peace. Thus we had a reading from all 7 acts, questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the prophet, noble Drew Ali. We'll now have a reading from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stages of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. This will be a reading from the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 26. The Holy Instructions in Unity. Page 36. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 26. Holy Instructions of Unity. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion in what measure seemeth good unto himself. Hath He endowed thee with wisdom? Hath He enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? Communicate to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changes his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. Peace. Thus we had a reading from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Our Sunday school is officially open, and I'd like to welcome you all out. If there's anyone in the hallway, the vestibule, or downstairs, please let them come up at this time. And how the Moors feeling today? Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. And at this time, we'll call for the Grand Sheik and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, our brother, man, and friend, Brother R. Jones Bay, for our Sunday school.
Islam.
Islam.
Okay. Allah, Father,
Universe, Father, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, through Ali. Amen.
okay, Islam.
Islam.
Okay, who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where's the nearest place we can meet?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Dua?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet of God of all manifested.
What is the duty of a prophet?
Save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Memorial Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew.
What year was the Memorial Science Temple of America founded?
1913
Where? Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
AD. State of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because of the descendants of our fathers who were born in America.
For what purpose was the Memorial Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplift and fall of humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
Teaching them to be themselves.
How was that done? How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By what?
Teaching them to be themselves.
How was that done? Or let me say it like this. How is that being done? And what is a very important element in learning what you're being taught? What's a major element in learning what you're being taught? And how is that being done? Yeah. Come on, man.
I say through the old time religion, the everlasting gospel.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. Islam. Listen to you, man.
He's teaching us to be ourselves by showing us that we're not Negro, Black, and colored.
That's good.
Come back.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Come on, man.
By showing us that we are who our forefathers were.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, that we are the true founders of the first religious creed.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you a question. How is he showing us that? How is he showing us? Yeah, how is he showing us that? As far as, I mean, just your explanation. How is he showing you that?
The prophet said, imitate our prophet.
Okay.
So, if the prophet's divine teachings are telling us who we are,
Okay.
and we follow in his footsteps,
Okay.
then we are on the right path.
Okay. Okay.
And we're not being misled no more.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
We're not going by what they told us.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We're going by what the prophet told us.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Okay. Okay. Now, how are you able to accept that what the prophet is telling us is right?
Because
Let me say it this way, actually, hold on. How are you accepting that what the prophet is telling us is right? What's making you accept it?
I accept what the prophet say because I can trace his words back. He says my teachings are divine instructions.
Right,
See what I'm saying? So they don't come from no man.
right,
They come straight from the law.
all right,
You understand?
right,
So when we follow the prophet's instructions,
right. When we what?
when we follow the
When we
prophet,
follow the prophet's instructions, what happens?
we know that we're on the right path to
How?
go in the direction
How do we know?
through faith.
Yes, but how else do we know?
Because I believe what the prophet said.
No question, but how else do we know? If you are to know what? You must be what you know. That's how you know.
Yeah.
See, that's how you know if what he's saying to us is credible or not. Because we actually we put forth an effort to do what? Live it. See, there is no proof in what he says unless you live it. There's no proof that he's the son of Allah unless you imitate him to find out. And the only way you can find that out in degrees is that you what? Live it. See, I commend you for going through that little exercise with me. It was very invigorating. But the thing is, we got to remember, anytime we defend the prophet, we have to always remember that element that gives us that what we need to defend him sufficiently. And that is that we know. Based on what we have been able to what? Live. We know. And it's not always, you know what? Think about it. You're living the life, or you're attempting to live the life of a prophet. You're imitating a prophet. You're living the life of a prophet. Because that's what that imitation is. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Because the thought, because I'm thinking about the thought of Allah.
Yes.
And I'm imitating the thought,
Yes.
not the physical.
Right. It's not about the physical. The physical does what I tell it to do. Or what I don't tell it to do. But the physical can do what? It can't think.
Yeah.
So that means that physical is subjected to my thought. I put a thought in it, and that physical will allow me to carry that thought out. So it ain't that we trying to imitate him physically, because physically he's not present. Physically, he must manifest in flesh for us to be able to see it. In this time. In the past, there was a time when he did manifest in the flesh. He was an example. We could see it. But now we need to use our what? Reason. And what else are we using? Because we don't see him manifested in the flesh like him, like the manifestation of him in that body. So how do we tell him how do we tell when we see him? Or if we even see him at all? By what? By look, but that's not funny. Because for real, we got to see him somewhere. And it's not physical that we see him, we got to see him somewhere. You got to see him in the mind's eye. Some keep us coming here. We've never met him physically. We don't even know if he was here physically. But we know one thing, now that we know that a thought was here. And we, regardless of whether we see that thought in that flesh or not, we know we can identify that thought. And the only way you can identify that thought is that you've been living. Or you've been trying to live. That thought cannot even come in, that thought will not even manifest through you until you accept it. That thought won't even make its presence known in you until you accept it. You got to accept it willingly. I got to willingly accept the prophet as a thought. I got to willingly do it. Come on, Mark.
I'm trying to remember something. Didn't the prophet say one time that if you see me, don't
That's right.
Don't say nothing?
That's right. That's right. Now that's when he materializes, not necessarily in the flesh as we know it.
Oh,
See, he materializes also in divine flesh. See, when that statement, you know, if you see me, you know, don't speak to me unless I speak to you first. Right? Because that means that, well, when you see him, everyone else may not see him.
You won't be looking like you're talking.
You don't know how you talk to yourself. So, but if he speaks first, it is the appropriate time, and the condition is right.
He said, my sheep know the sound
That's
of my
what
voice,
he said. Yeah,
and the stranger will not follow.
that's what he said.
And he said, you can come up to see me on the sofa.
That's what he said, Mom. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. Now, in the early days of our growth and development, we may not have understood it to that extent, to the extent that we understand it now. See, now we can now some of the things that he has said to us that was not easy to comprehend for us at a certain time, now we have explanation. That explanation has come from your willingness to not only accept him, but to also live the life by way of the imitation of him. See, imitating him means a lot in this regard. When you imitate him, you imitate the thought that you see. And the thought that you see gives you the reinforcement that is necessary for you to continue to at least try it. Because if your thought is shaky on what you see of him, then what happens is you're reluctant to try it. What prevents you from trying? Doubt. Doubt. Don't you know doubt prevents us from imitating the prophet? We can do it if we're by ourselves or if we're with people that we're comfortable with. But when we have to go out in the population, it becomes a little difficult for us to act like that. We don't act like that. You ask yourself, why? Why is it difficult for me to act like that when I'm out there, as opposed to when I'm in here, or when I'm in an area where I'm basically around those who can adjust to the way I'm behaving? But when I get out in the population and around more people that's familiar with me, it's difficult for me to. Then I have a difficult. I find it difficult to be like that. I find myself wanting to identify with the individuals whom I have surrounded myself with. Your language changed because you're trying to fit in. See, the prophet's language goes out the door for a moment.
At that point, you functioning on show.
Come on, Mo. Come on.
In reality,
Come on. Come on.
Yes, Mom. A couple of things.
That's
One,
right.
Is it safe to say also when you're talking about us being what we know,
Yeah.
we all, for me,
Yeah.
it also followed up with being able to see it manifest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of things in my head,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of things are correct, or
Yeah.
I have conviction conviction about it.
Yeah.
But those things that are of a spiritual nature that are beyond dealing with the world,
Yeah.
I'm able to stand firmer with it because I see it working.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the other thing you just said about acting different when you
Yes.
get out, I also have been through that and experienced that.
Yeah.
Not only, I hope, not necessarily because I was putting on the show or just not doing it, trying to fit in.
Yeah.
But I know that in growing into Islam,
Yeah.
in growing into the Prophet's teaching,
Yeah.
it's a challenge and
Yeah.
it takes courage
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
it takes confidence.
Yeah.
So it's also can be that you don't do it because you don't feel that confidence yet.
Right.
You know, I have been in a position, and I've talked to hundreds of other members who have said echoed the same thing.
Right.
Well, I'm not saying enough because I don't know enough about this yet to be
Right.
answering people's questions
Right.
and letting people know what's going on
Right.
with me.
Right.
So I think it's not always that we don't truly believe
Right.
and want to live the life.
Right.
It's just not comfortable
Right.
for enough for us yet
Right.
to step out in that.
Right.
I had to grow into that.
Right. You know, but that's not only you. That's, you know, me too.
Praise the Lord.
I had to grow into this.
Yes.
This was no easy thing.
No.
I had to go into world affairs. When I wasn't around individuals who were wearing fadges, or I was first at a place where they weren't there yet, and I had to go into learning to wear a fez.
Yes. Yes.
See, the good thing is right. We grow into it.
That's
That's
right.
it.
That's right.
That's it.
We grow into this. But you only grow as you can only grow up straight if you're what?
Right.
If not only that, if you're practicing.
Yes.
That's why the practice part is so important. You won't gain confidence unless you practice.
That's right.
You won't be able to take your stand unless you truly practice. See, because when you get ready to take your stand, you're taking a stand based on what you know. I know this is right. I'm taking my stand because I know it. Now, the only reason that you don't do it once you know it is because of your weakness. It's because your weakness still has a major influence on you. Think about it. I can know that this is right, but I don't have this. I'm weak. I'm weak and I can't do it. Come on.
It's not another thing too, Lord. When you try to fit into, you prostitute your principles.
Yeah.
Principles that you've established and you've been acting according to them.
Yeah.
Around malls, around people that's trying to do the same thing you do, but when you filter in somewhere where you try to fit in,
Right.
I found myself to kind of prostitute my principles to fit in.
I hear you. I hear you.
You know, I ain't never acting according to them.
Right. I
I
hear
act according to them sometimes,
you. I
but
hear you.
to fit in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, you know, until you identify what you're doing, how will you know that you need to work on fitting in? You got to know what you're doing that's causing you not to fit in. I'm not fitting in because I'm reluctant around those whom I'm around. So you got to identify, man, I'm falling short in that area. Because if you don't identify it, you will continue to do it. When you talk about being a part of a program that's uplifting fallen humanity, you have to understand, or well, it's need for you to accept the fact that the majority don't understand that.
Right.
And the majority of people that you're gonna come in contact with don't understand that.
That's right.
And you got to be prepared to deal with that. Because if you're not prepared to deal with it, it's easy to get sucked into general opinion. That's the fight. Come on.
Like Ken Andre told me the other day, he said, Mo, nature urges thee to be constant.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, I mean, one day you will, the other day you will not.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's what, you know, we constantly got to be aware of that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're striving to be what? What are we striving to be in our behavior? In the display of our behavior, what are we striving to be?
Consistent.
Consistent. Consistent.
And that which is right.
That's right. Come on.
I was just thinking when Mr. John Bay was speaking, and the word came to me was confidence too. But also I think about when he said, "Understanding is the rock,
Yeah.
which man builds himself
Yeah.
on." And I was thinking about the transition. We have to build
Yeah.
ourselves based on what He has given us,
Right.
and it is a process. It's a transition,
Yeah.
and we have to be honest with ourselves. There's times that we do have reluctance
Right.
because and that's why He said, "I call on strong men and women."
Yeah.
To take your place.
Yeah.
Strong men, because it takes, and that even got to be built.
Right.
Because even in knowing these things, it's also knowing how to use it.
Right.
See, you could become arrogant with it
Right.
and misuse it.
Right.
So all of it is a science, and that's why it's important that we come to our meetings,
Right.
so that we can learn and we can build ourselves
Right.
on the teachings of the Bible. So that we do come before the face of man, they ask for proof of what we are.
Yeah.
What would we say? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves, like Jesus did when He was in the wilderness. So, but it's a process, and that's why it's important that we keep on hammering it,
Right.
taking that hammer and building and putting it in us,
Right.
and working on ourselves.
Right.
But the most important thing is to give it a chance.
Right.
Give it a chance,
Right.
and see if it makes your life better.
Right.
The more you receive, the more you gonna want.
Right.
Peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Islam.
Yeah.
And I've also learned that we have to learn when it's appropriate to stand up or to say something.
Right.
And this also helps us to learn about people
Right.
and to learn, wise words uttered in due season.
Right.
Don't put yourself out there. Don't get into arguments. Don't know when you should say something.
Right.
Because again, in learning this, I had to learn to distinguish between when I was just being afraid to say something
Right.
and when I didn't need to say something because of who I was
Right.
surrounded by. Because some people, like you said, when we get out there dealing with the public and the generality of men,
Right.
there are people that you're wasting your breath saying something to.
Right.
Because they've already made up in their mind, oh, what is this foolishness?
Right.
Or what y'all talking, what's this you coming with now?
Right.
And
Right.
then you have those who genuinely have an interest or at least are open enough to hear something different.
Right.
So we have to learn how to, we're learning how to read people and to read a situation and to know, I'm not even going there because I already know how they think,
Right.
how they respond.
Right.
I've tested the water
Right.
and I know there's no way you can go there.
Right.
And it doesn't matter that you don't go there
Right.
because if it's for them,
Right.
they will be open to it. Allah will open them up to it.
Right.
So it's not like, you gotta prove the prophet's point.
Right.
He don't need us to do that.
Right. Right.
Right.
Come on, yeah.
Islam, boss.
Islam.
Just listening to this discussion, it shows that while we have to be here,
Yeah.
Not only are we reluctant to speak out there,
Yeah.
we in here reluctant to speak. And the only way we start to express ourselves and exercise our five senses, even in here, is once we've grown to a certain point that the sister is correct and we're unfolding.
Right.
But you unfold based on your practice, which is what has been emphasized,
Right.
and your study,
Right.
and your acceptance of the prophet's teaching. If you don't accept this, you won't go anywhere and say anything.
Right.
Not right anyway.
Right.
And that doubt that we talked about, that's always going to be present
Right.
until you accept these teachings.
Right.
And your acceptance is not just saying, I'll go to the temple, I'll join the temple. Your acceptance is that you have gone within and you've listened and you are starting to hear the sound. And you starting to examine yourself. Remember, the prophet said, know thyself and thy Father God of love. And the way that the prophet began to uplift the Moorish Americans about teaching them to be themselves. So that means we got to put in the work in order for us to go even amongst each other and stand and say what the prophet said with confidence.
Right.
Even in here. But we have to grow into it because now you've put in some work and you've studied enough.
Right.
And you actually have accepted the prophet's teaching that you can stand on some of the things that he said.
Right.
And there should be a basic, what the grand governor said is important for us. You got to have a foundation. This is our foundation, and it has to be solid. Because you got a shaky foundation, that's what they're going to get from you, shaky. So our consistency in practicing these teachings, our growth, and our being able to take the hammer and pound it in until it becomes a part of every part is important, and it's so important that we have to do it on a daily basis.
That's right.
You have to have your own study sessions when you're on by yourself.
That's right.
And then you got to question yourself on what you think you know. And go back and find it in the book and find it in the literature and see if that is what the prophet said. And ask Allah to give you the meaning of things.
That's right.
So that we can become more solid and founded in these teachings. Because it's going to be, you're going to be tried.
That's right.
You're going to be amongst those who don't understand. Now, when we got the message to deliver, your consideration shouldn't be whether or not they get it right there. Your message got to be, let me tell the truth, and then keep it moving. Remember this, the mind never does forget. It's things that we've heard years ago from our parents and others that we can say, and that the prophet has said, that we can say now, I heard that before.
Yeah.
Such as you'll reap what you sow. I heard that when I was growing up. So those things are important that we hold onto that which is right, and we continue to practice so that we can gain strength.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Come on, man.
It's fine. I went to a prayer breakfast yesterday. I was invited.
Right.
And the reason why I went, because I first of all, I had a foundation.
Right.
And when I was in there, all I can hear was the prophet's teachings.
Right.
These teachings are all those for all those who love Jesus.
Right.
And it was a moment back then where I wouldn't have went nothing like that.
Right.
Because I was on sacred ground.
Right.
But I went and held, and I was in the temple. That's where I was at.
Right.
So,
Praise the Lord. Okay. You said you wouldn't hell, huh? I hear you, Mom. I hear you. Better learn when they hold.
That's right.
They don't know when to hold. We must understand this also. You know, we go, we study, and we learn things. But we also have to understand that just because we have become enlightened in certain areas, it does not mean that we necessarily know.
Come on.
And we must be humble enough to hear with patience other people.
Yeah,
That's right.
And not be willing to get into a debate. I done put all this work into it, and I know this. And then there's a difference of opinion, we have a tendency to want to stress out from it. We lose what the whole discussion is about. Because we want to be right. And it's going to be a confrontation. Because you may meet the same person that also wants to be right. So now the devil can do what? Create what? A condition where what exists? Argument. Come on.
And I think that's why it's important that we use the lesson as a part of wisdom to hear with patience.
Yes. Yes.
And patience doesn't mean that you have to wait for them to finish
Yes.
to lay your shot down.
Yes. Yes.
Patience means just let, if it's meant to respond, but if it's not, to, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Until the right time comes for you to share what you might have to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because patience, I know sometimes I've been in positions where the patience was when you gonna finish.
Yeah.
Because when you finish, I got something I want to say.
Yeah.
But that's a misuse of patience.
Yeah.
Because what you might want to say may create the condition that turn the whole conversation into something that may not be conducive for neither one of us to get anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's just something I learned in my trial.
And so too, baby, we have to learn when we are only listening so that we can look for an opening
There you
so
go.
we can talk.
There you go.
We're not listening to get what might be in it.
Come on.
I'm just listening until I can see my opening so I can talk.
That's right. That's right.
Come on.
Like you say, you listen, you get an opening.
Yeah.
But if you listen, you may hear something.
Yeah. That's true.
You may hear something.
That's true.
A person could be giving you a plea for help.
True.
They may be speaking with need of advice.
Yes.
Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if you listen with patience,
Yeah.
you may hear something
Yeah.
that you could probably minister
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Me and my wife was talking, and she was talking about how she talked to different people and,
Yeah.
talk about God and stuff like that. And I'm telling her that's good, but with me, it's not in the talk.
Yeah.
I mean, we communicate with people.
Yeah.
If they open, if they're not, they're not.
Yeah.
But the lesson is imitate the prophet.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the personality of the Nazarene.
Yeah.
We have to have a certain personality
Yeah.
to get along with people.
Right.
And the main thing in the lesson is, like you say, practice,
Right.
living,
Right.
walking.
Right.
You don't have to talk as much.
Right.
If you just live in it,
Right.
it says a lot.
Right.
You don't have to say anything.
Right.
Just live it, and people will see. That's the purpose of imitating the prophet and following the example. Like Brother Grant spoke about, he mentioned the word honest.
Right.
We have to be honest, with ourselves,
Yeah.
where we are. And I was thinking the word sincerity.
Right.
Like it was said, accepting the teachings of the prophet.
Right.
Sometimes we can also accept our condition.
Yeah.
We comfortable where we are. We don't know.
Right.
No, we don't know.
Right.
But we accept that condition. It is what it is, and this is where I am. And don't even try to do no better.
Right.
But the lesson is imitate the prophet. Just try to live it the best you can.
Right.
And pray for courage.
You just said a mouthful.
Right. Come on, yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's part of the other lesson, and we're learning so much in here. And the beauty of being in here is that he's teaching us that ours and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And as you all were speaking about listening to others, well, just like he may use our tongue to speak, he may use their tongue to speak too. Since he's in everybody.
Yeah.
The other part is this, is that we as Morris Americans are learning some very distinct lessons in this regard, that gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew or Greek. It is the heritage of every man of every time and kind. That should keep us open. That should keep us open no matter where we're at. I met a guy on the street years ago who was homeless, and somehow I just got to talking to him. You know, I wasn't even in the temple, but I come to find out, you know, this man was a professor.
Right.
He was educated. He was passing through a way of life. And as we talk, you know, regardless of how his outward appearance was, I learned a lot from that gentleman at the time. So we can't judge. We don't know. If we open, Allah will reveal to us what we need and how we need to approach situations.
Right,
You just gotta believe and have faith in Him.
right, right. My dear.
It's I think in the past I have struggled with learning to listen with patience and hear with patience.
Yeah.
And I think I've been so used to kind of having my guard up when certain conversations are brought up that I know may like trigger something in me.
Right.
I'm learning, especially with the temple and my family, so that when you hear with patience sincerely, you're able to still yourself enough that you can hear the overall message. And I may not have like the delivery sometimes, or I may not have like the maybe the person, but I think I think overall, when I'm able to still myself and do that, I can hear what they're trying to say. And then sometimes people just want to be heard in a sense, not in a bad way heard, but like them communicating with you.
Yeah.
And them getting their portion out, and if I'm shutting myself off just because I didn't like what somebody said, I'm missing that portion that I possibly could have needed.
Yeah. You, I got to say, you ever get in a conversation with somebody and get to a point where you say, I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear it. You know, but we could be not allowing ourselves to hear what that whole conversation was to reveal to us, and getting to that point. And we could have got beyond that point, because that could have been a weakness to prevent us from hearing what we needed to hear.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
See, we may have had to go through that as a challenge to test your patience.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Of course, we learn that now, but in the past, you know, we didn't always have the patience enough to even think about that. We wouldn't even let a person finish. Come on.
It's not. I found in the past, a lot of times, if you having a genuine discussion with somebody about something, and they just not the type of person that's talking loud and saying nothing.
Right,
Once you hear them out, they want to hear what you got to say.
right,
They ask you what you think about them.
right,
Or they want to hear your insight on it.
Right.
Once you just hear them out.
right,
A lot of times,
right,
they want to hear your take on it.
right. Remember, it's always different methods that are provided for you to impart your message. And it's always different methods and techniques that come by way of someone else for you to hear the message.
Yes.
But unless you're patient to hear, you can miss it. You can miss something that you reject. You can reject a truth that's coming to you. So it's always important that we practice patience. Come on, sis.
It's almost sitting here thinking about conversations I had, and I'm kind of with what Sister Jones Bay said, you know, sometimes people just don't want to hear it. So I turned to another strategy. One thing, not giving them too much at one time. A little bit of this and a little bit of that, I blend into the conversation. I listen to what they say, and a lot of times they are teaching what the prophet say, but they're just doing it in their own way. So I kind of turn it around, what they call psychology, and get them to think about what they're saying and looking at it in a different way. And I can use some of the teachers to do this. That help them think about something and then come back and ask for more. It's just how you approach an individual, how you put it out to them, right? And let them think they done picked up something on their own. To get them more curious and come back for more. It's just like waving a bone to a puppy, and he's gonna keep jumping for more and more stuff. And I just had to use strategy on deep conversations with people, because a lot of times they don't want to listen. They think they're right about everything. We know everything but our own ignorance.
Sister,
That's all.
sister.
What I'm struggling with right now is, I come from an Islamic and Christian family. It's like it's a split. So this is the first time in my life that I chose to make a decision for myself. And I have been exiled from the entire family. From my children to just everybody, no one calls me, talks to me, or come around. So I found more peace with me because it's a choice that I made for me. And I'm enjoying the journey. But it's painful to not have my family interaction with me. So it's hard to walk away and know how to interact with them with so much judgment and, manipulation and stuff.
Yeah. You know, I tell you though, many ways are introduced to us to help us grow. Each condition provides us with an opportunity to grow. And that condition, it is taught to us, is this. You are sure to find yourself when you can solve your problems best. So the condition that you're presently confronted with, it's a reason that you're going through life, what you're going through. You must prove your strength and worthiness. Because for real, truth won't bring them together, whether they together now or not, whether they know it or not. It's the truth that's going to draw them, and the truth that's inspired by love. So we got to go through something sometime. But that's all right. If you just said what you said, and you said that you have found peace, that's what you've been looking for anyway. Right.
Islam. Just to piggyback off what Brother Chase Hill said earlier, when you state things, you do plant seeds.
Yeah.
There are so many sayings and hearings and readings that I have that resonate within me that I've heard, that allow me to practice, that allow me to see, especially the patience piece, patience and sincerity. For when encountering persons, people, and everybody, she liked to teach me because we go places, and you can't go nowhere without knowing. I mean, I grew up me, but the problem is it's kind of hard for me to validate that when I'm in North Carolina, and I go down south, and I'm not around my family. But then she'll say, we'll go somewhere. She'll disappear, and I'm like, I'm going over here, and then she'll pop up, somebody talking to me, you know them? And I mean, these individuals are sharing like their life. Yeah, man, the other day, man, my lady, I turn my head to the side, and I'm like, okay. Hey, why they come here and talking? I don't know.
Right.
So in sharing with others, like you say, picking your spots, learning to listen to receive, and not always listen to respond.
Right.
Learning when to interject. And the one thing, like you said earlier, I've been so stuck, like over the last at least 10, 12 years, in studying to show myself approved, that a lot of my interactions and a lot of my ways that have come about to be able to admit what I don't know, to be able to learn from everybody, to recognize that I'm not too old to learn, but yet I'm not too young to teach.
Right,
To whereas I can sit amongst elders and share.
right.
See, now I'm gonna let you receive it. A lot of times, at least, especially it's great to come back. Like in other words, Brother Chase, you used earlier was reluctance. Well, I would sit around and hear, and I'm like, man, I don't really know what's going on.
Right,
And these elders rocking, man. I don't got nothing to say.
right.
But I went home. Matter of fact, after last Sunday school, and I received the message. Say, yes, you do.
Right,
Share with them because they share with you.
right.
So as I embark on this aspect of life and learning and dealing with that part of her life that she shared with you guys, all I can do is push her.
Right.
And all I can do is share with said parties because I'm one, like Sister Jones said earlier, I've gotten beat up. You know, because I got caught in my face now. Like you said, reluctant with a face, shoot. When I got it, I couldn't wait.
Right.
Put it on. I kind of walk around, parade around the house and everything, boom. Hey, y'all, I got this. Let me go read up on it. So that's the first thing I did. I read up on it. So if you had a question, and then what I share with folk too, I told y'all about let me talk. I stopped podcasting. I share with folk, like, if you ask me, I got a phone. We walk around with these $1,500, $2,000 computers on our side. If you don't know everything, hold up. Okay, man, I joined the temple. So they asked about the faith. We started reading.
Right.
Okay. Listen, and then I give you 2 minutes, like you said, I give you 2 minutes to read. You know what? Won't you come with me Friday night? We do something 7, 10 on Friday. What you doing Friday, Sunday? You busy?
Right.
All right, call me. Oh, man, I can't go. Okay. I planted the seed. Now, I had one buddy, and mind you, this was 2 months ago. Planted the seed. He called me yesterday. Hey, Jim, you going in tomorrow? Yeah. I'll call you. Now, I don't know, and I need y'all, somebody to tell me, did we spring forward?
Yes.
Okay. Because, let me tell you something. I thought I got up on time.
Right.
Y'all should have seen me skirting around the house. Get out here. Yeah, so I missed the call, so that's on me. But I'm just planning to see, listen, I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm just planning to see and share with others as we go about, and like you say, picking my spot because I'm really enjoying this work. Like I said, it's a thought movement.
Right.
And I'm realizing sitting in here with you family, that's what y'all are me. I've been in the thought movement for a long time. I've been asking questions. I've been looking at this crazy, crazy because, I'll verbalize and I don't really hold my tongue too much, Sometimes I pick my spots, I'm looking. But if I got a question, I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was that guy that grandma used to smack, boom, behind, boy, shut up. But in the end, she'd go home and answer my question because it was legit. So I ask questions, I share, and I don't know, sometimes you probably have to slow me down. I'm gonna sit down.
You know what you do, when you can recognize the fact that I need to slow myself down. That's good. It's good. I'm glad you're feeling comfortable, matter of fact.
That's right. Yes.
I'm glad you're feeling comfortable. I'm glad your sister feeling comfortable.
Yes.
Because that's when we can hear if we're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things, one of the major things that we're trying to promote is here is for you to feel comfortable. When you feel comfortable, you can start to see the relationship. You can start to sense the family time.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta feel comfortable first. So I'm glad it appears that y'all are feeling comfortable. Come on.
Islam, I just wanted to say, be encouraged for one, because I think, if not all, most of us can probably resonate or relate with that. I know I can. Coming from a Christian background, everybody, looks down on your head. Even in my family, I always tell the story when I came home with this on, everybody laughed at me and my family. So, but it was cool. It was just a step to be to push myself to go even further. You know what I mean? And another thing I want to say with as far as like being the warrior, when we were talking about not talking so much, when you were saying with your wife, trying to explain, it is a part where we do need to speak, for our improvement and for speak to the wise for our own improvement and speak to the ignorant
For their instruction.
for their instruction. So at some point, the word that came to mind when it came to that is science, balance.
Right.
Not overdoing it,
Right.
trying to, give somebody something to drink
Right.
through a fire hydrant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Open up a fire hydrant, give somebody a drink. Sometimes just a drink of water, a cup of water, and cut it off.
Right. Right.
And so
Right.
it's a balance to that. And I had to learn that because sometimes when you get these lessons, you're excited, you want to share, you want to tell everybody. And rightfully so, because you be like, man, all of this has been around all this time, But, as you can see, as the analogy that comes to my mind is when somebody's sleeping, you cut the light on, their first reaction is cut that light on. So you're going to experience that rejection. And so, that's my piece I wanted to add.
Okay. I remember when you ain't say that. There's a lot that you feel. What you give is what you are imparting is beneficial. See, remember, and I'm trying to remember this so that I can look at people differently. I'm trying to remember that Allah is in us all. And at any time, He may speak.
That's right.
That's why I'm trying to learn how not to hold stuff and cut off my blessing. My sister.
What I have learned with my family is that sometimes it's not in the words, but it's in my action. And when they see my children, the way they act, the way they respond, that they have their own interpretation of what Islam is,
Yeah,
but it's what I'm showing them that makes a difference.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Good to have you back too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We did miss your spirit. That's for sure. Okay, look, we have avoided not purposely. You gotta go through this. So, what else?
It should be.
Okay, all right. Okay, chapter 18, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 18, the resurrection of Jesus. Pilate places the Roman seal upon the stone door of the tomb. At midnight, a company of the Silent Brotherhood marched about the tomb. The soldiers are alarmed. Jesus teaches to the spirits in prison. Early Sunday morning, he rises from the tomb. The soldiers are bribed by the priest to say that the disciples have stolen the body. Look, those are all events that took place at that particular time. All those things that took place within that moment that this event was occurring. All these things took place in that moment that these events was occurring. So think about your life and how many events take place. A multiplicity of things take place. So that means that you have to be what? Careful, but not only careful what? On guard. You must be focused. You must be focused. Focused on what? What must you be focused on? And I can't move on until you answer the question. What must you be focused on?
The present choice.
Your present concerns. He who neglecteth is what? Present concerns. You must be focused, we must be focused on our present concerns. What's a concern? What's a concern? A what?
An event.
An event.
I mean, things occur.
Oh,
A
thank you.
necessity.
A concern. What's a concern?
A priority.
What are your present priorities? All right, the tomb in which they, where did we stop? 16, right? Was it 16?
Yeah, it's gonna start at 17.
All right, right. The tomb in which they laid the body of the Lord was in a garden rich with flowers, the garden of Salome, and Joseph's home was near. Before the watch began, Caiaphas sent a company of priests out to the garden of Salome, that they might be assured that Jesus' body was within the tomb. They rolled the stone away. They saw the body there, and then they placed the stone again before the door. And Pilate sent his scribe, who placed upon the stone the seal of Rome, in such a way that he who moved it would break the Roman seal. To break the Roman seal meant death to him who broke the seal. The Jewish soldiers all were sworn to faithfulness. And then the watch began. At midnight all were well, but suddenly the tomb became a blaze of light. And down the garden a troop of white-clad soldiers marched in single file. They came up to the tomb and marched and countermarched before the tomb. The Jewish soldiers were alert. They thought his friends had come to steal the body of the Nazarene. The captain of the guard cried out to charge. They charged, but not a white-clad soldier fell. They did not even stop. They marched and countermarched among the frightened men. They stood upon the Roman seal. They did not speak. They unsheathed not their swords. It was the silent brotherhood. The Jewish soldiers fled in fear. They fell upon the ground. They stood apart until the white-clad soldiers marched away. And then the light grew dim, and then the light about the tomb grew dim. Then they returned. The stone was in its place. The seal was not disturbed, and they resumed their march. Now Jesus did not sleep within the tomb. The body is manifest of soul, but soul is without its manifest. Quickly, what does that mean? What does that mean? The body, the soul is without a body. What does it mean? What does it say? Let me read it again. It says, the body is manifest of soul, but soul is without its manifest. What does that tell you about the soul?
It existed before the body, the soul comes to the body function.
Okay, but what does that little brief statement say?
The body, that the soul is not confined to the body.
Okay, that's a
But
good
the soul has a manifest.
The soul has a what?
Manifest.
A manifest. And what did we learn about that which is manifest, which is a manifestation of the soul, which is the body?
It can be seen.
Huh?
It can be seen.
It can be, that's a good point. It's physical. That's right. That's right. What else did we learn? That the body, for the purpose of the body, for the soul. What is the necessary purpose for the body being given to a soul?
So they may function.
So it might what?
Function.
It may function on a plane of things made manifest in this case.
Yes.
Because without the body, the soul cannot function on this plane.
Right.
Why?
Because it's unmanifested.
It is, but why can't the soul function
Because of the,
without the body?
because the vibration is
Say it. The vibration is different. The slower is the manifestation, but the plane of soul is faster than the plane of things made manifest. Yeah.
I think you read the soul body.
Yeah.
And I think you said something without his body.
Right.
So I was thinking when you said without his body, I think you was thinking about what I was thinking about without the physical body.
Right.
But the soul was in the soul body.
Right.
Or the spirit was in the soul body.
Right. The spirit is in the soul body.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Right. Remember, the spirit was planted in the soul body. And what happened, it began to grow. And then that spirit that was in that soul, it is working. It did, but it also showed that that spirit, the soul became a living soul. And it became a living soul. Okay. All right. So it says that.
Excuse me, could you read that one more time?
It says that, and Jesus did not sleep within the tomb. The body is manifested soul. But soul is without its manifest.
Soul without its manifest.
Yes.
Is that without the physical body?
That's what it's saying. Yeah, that's what it's saying.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Yeah. Come on, Mom.
What's wrong? Praise the Lord. You know, when you lay down at night,
Right.
this is the demonstration. Right. You lay down at night, your body is dead.
Right.
But those who know this
Right.
dream and they might travel to another different plane.
Believe.
And the body and the soul will come back to the body.
Right.
But man, you said something a long time ago.
Yeah.
You said, whatever influences the soul the most, it influences the most, that's where it manifests. So when the flesh influences the soul the most, that's when the flesh comes about, right? Whatever influences the soul the most.
Whatever is the most influence, it is manifested. And outside of the body, you see it manifest.
So that's on why soul, flesh is coming about, manifestation.
Well, that's the only reason that it came about, because of the manifestation is the flesh.
Right.
And it manifested on the plane of things made manifest. And it was able to manifest because of what? The slow vibration. Which created what? The physical. The physical was created by what? The murky ethers. The murky ethers. The murky ethers become what? Manifest. You can see it. But this ain't it. Even though it's moving and it's giving the impression of talking and doing all this stuff, this ain't it. This is only an instrument that allows it to be manifested. When we're doing what we're doing, we're manifesting it that's in it. Yeah.
You know, and it's funny you brought that up earlier. The thought that came to me was when we show certain behavior,
Yes.
the behavior that we show direct reflect on
Yeah.
the way our soul is being
Yes.
influenced at that particular time.
Yes.
So that we can see those behaviors
Yes.
manifested
Yes.
on an outwardly point of view.
Yes. 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 And because here, Mo, on this plane of things made manifest, you will always experience manifestations.
Right.
You'll always see it. Yes.
So the sound of God, they rose above the murky ethers. That's why when the soldiers charged them,
Right.
they had risen above the murky ethers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why they couldn't feel no
Right.
when they charged them. Because they were unmanifest.
Right.
So that tells you what? You can see unmanifested things.
Yeah.
That's what the soldiers saw. They saw unmanifested beings. So that lets us know we can see things. You can see the unmanifested being. Come on, man, come on,
So,
Leon.
and you know, we're learning, and these are good things that we're learning, is that Jesus said he could cross the border
Yes.
at his will.
Yes, yes.
You know, and if we remember the lesson when John went into the marketplace, John went into the marketplace and he drew a veil about himself. They couldn't see it.
Right,
So there are different times when, I guess, when you get to a certain
right,
level of development.
right. That's right,
Because we're here to master
right,
this flesh.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. See, there's gonna come time, you know, all our messages, you know, when you will see the form, unmanifested form. Sometimes you see them now and you don't even pay attention to them. Have you ever been sitting down, or you may be in your house, or you may be wherever you may be, but you may be by yourself, and all of a sudden something catch your attention?
Mm-hmm.
Something flashes and it catches your attention?
Mm-hmm.
What you think you experience? There are times when we get glimpses of different forms. Now we're not able to get the picture
Right.
because we haven't grown to that point. But we can catch glimpses.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was 16, around that time frame, I was at the table doing my homework and saw my father run from across the hall to my room.
Right,
I'm like, why is he in my room?
right,
So I told my mom, like, why's my dad? Why's dad in the room?
right,
He's gone. He's been gone. Like, what do you mean? I saw him.
right,
I saw him cover his pants and everything.
right,
I went back there and he wasn't there for real.
right,
So, but for me to be able to see that,
right,
and I saw the color and everything,
Right.
like,
right.
you know,
But you know what I've learned? But what you're seeing, you're not seeing with these.
yeah, exactly.
It's a brief moment that eye is open. Yeah. It's a moment when the eye is open and it catches it.
Yeah.
But you can't see something vibrating faster than what your physical eye can comprehend.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is glimpses of when your inner eye opens. That's a little bit, and you catch what's going on. You see it.
I got a question.
Yeah,
Of what you just said.
yeah.
So what is it, and I think I said something to you a long time ago, years ago. It was a few of us sitting on rocks,
Yeah,
on the lake,
yeah.
right? And we seen the prophet walking across the water. Or not all of us, but it was about 3 of us that did see it. So what is that? What is that?
Remember, it's just like
It's still spooky to this day.
Yeah, well, it's just like he told you. And when my brother brought it up, and he was saying, you know, if you see me, don't speak to me first. At the time, that eye pops open. See, the more we are attempting to see, the more we are walking towards the light, certain things start to be unlocked. They don't give it to us all at once because it would take us out. But it gives you glimpses. And as you continue to move forward towards the light, you get more light. Just like you said, babe. When you turn the light on at once, all of a sudden now cut that light off. But as you stay in the light, and you continue to march forward in the light starts to expand. And you start seeing more light. And those are the things we start to experience. As we are trying to get where we try to get home.
And you remember at the beginning of the conversation, we talked about events.
Yes.
And one of the things I'm learning is to be able to identify
Right.
the events.
Right.
Those that are seen just as well as those are not seen.
Right.
Sometimes how we categorize
Right.
based on what we've been taught
Right.
allows us to look at it as some form of spookism.
Right.
So if we, and the way we frame it, has a lot to do with, well, it should come back to you because of the way you have accepted it.
Right.
See, and I think when we talk about the events, there are many events that go, that's why our present concern is very important.
Right.
So, and even if we, even like you say, it comes, we may not know what the meaning of it is, but we don't want to put it in the category of some form of hurt, some form, because it may be just, it may be time for the notion to come. But we may reject it by the way we accept it. By the way we accept it. And one thing I've learned in my journey, it's a certain discipline that comes with receiving the light. Because, you know, it's a certain discipline that comes. And, you know, that's just something I think when I listen to you.
Right. Well, remember, we're talking about, remember what the experience of the soldiers were.
Come on, that means, yeah.
You know, see, that was done for the purpose. See, Allah allowed that to take place for a purpose.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
That's why they sown.
Yes.
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 You know, that He allowed that to take place for a purpose. Because remember, and those events were for the purpose of proving the possibility of man.
Come on.
So everything that took place in the event that we're studying took place for the purpose of proving the possibilities of man. We're just blessed to be able to discuss it, to talk about it, to get a visualization of it. Who? It's on my dear.
It's on. Now, growing up, I would see this woman that was living with us, but I could feel her touching me. Like she would pick me up and put me on the counter, open doors, and I found out later on she had passed away before I was born.
Yeah.
So when you can feel, because I can see things, but when you actually feel and catching.
Yeah. You know, what I have read about that is this. It's mainly dependent on your sensitiveness, how sensitive you are. See, where are you? We don't know where we are in our development. We don't know where we are. We don't. When I was growing up, I could easily leave my body, but I didn't know what I was doing, and it was very scary because I would be laying down, I would be asleep, and all of a sudden I can't move, and it's frightening when you're laying there and you can't move. And then a thought comes: just be still. Be still. If you can move one finger, one toe, something, you'll be all right. And but it was very scary, you know.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. In our earlier stages, before we get so contaminated, you know, we do experience things.
Yes.
But sometimes as we grow older, we take on certain vices, which prevents us from experiencing some of the things that we used to experience before we got all.
Back up.
Yeah. Come on here.
Yes, you know what's so enlightening about this conversation we're having right now is the fact that we should be starting to see the importance of being spirit. Now he teaches us in the book that with the eye of soul, you see all the planes of life. You mentioned that there are glimpses when that eye opens.
Yes.
And learn about our soul being such an important entity to man. That great talent that has been committed to our child. Seek out to know it perfectly because it is inscrutable.
That's right.
There's more that we are experiencing right now, just through these conversations. And now the blessing is, we're starting to understand a little bit better. Because when you was a child, when Brother D-Bay was a young boy, you couldn't understand that. Who could you talk to? Not very many people. And especially not very many people who would have understood.
Right.
And even now that you're in this school of learning, we're now seeing those possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that they're not something that's mystic.
right, that's right,
They're not mystic.
that's right.
Man being spirit is not mystic.
Yeah,
We have to remember that.
yeah.
This is what we have to transition to as we're going from the highest plane of life
Right,
to this lowest plane of life.
right, right.
So it's important that we are focusing in and learning these lessons so now that we can see who we are.
Yeah, 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 and that's the truth. See, y'all, it's something, and that's the truth here. It's like this. We are entering a more rapid ether.
Yes.
And it's not, we're leaving a slower ether and we're entering a more rapid ether. Now, what's made available to us in a more rapid vibration is different than this. And we don't always understand it.
That's right.
So by we not understanding it, sometimes we mislabel it.
Come on, that's right.
Sometimes we just push it aside. But you must always remember you are speeding up. The things you used to do, you can't do anymore.
Right.
Because if you do, it's only because you willingly choose to re-enter into a slower vibration.
Because our thoughts are changing.
Yeah. And that's the imbalance. That's the fight. The fight from wanting to go, but still having attachments here that prevent you from going, that cause you to go back, but think that you can get some satisfaction for what it used to give you satisfaction.
Right.
When you find out up here, it wasn't really satisfying at all. That's the fight. Come on, man.
Your conversations get faster now.
Yeah, Mo.
Because everybody's not privy to these teachings. So sometimes we got to be mindful of the conversation that we had,
Right,
that we don't want to go too far,
right, right,
you know, because people don't understand.
right.
You know, they haven't been introduced to this.
Right. But you know, remember something. Everyone that's in here is here because they have been chosen to be here.
That's right.
That's right. You think the McGee Bay girls don't hear something,
You better believe it.
and when the time is appropriate, they will recall it.
That's right.
They're not here by chance or accident.
That's right.
You know, sister, Brother Chase's granddaughter's not here by chance or accident today.
That's right.
Whatever she's hearing, we may say, let's don't talk over their head. But suppose it ain't over their head.
All right. That's right.
Suppose they're hearing the portion that they can understand. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Remember, everyone is in a condition that is the best condition for them to grow. Regardless of how we look at it. Because we're looking at it from the fence.
Yeah.
Well, I got a roll. Go ahead. All right, peace.
Islam more. Islam. Praise be to Allah. I'd like to thank our Grand Sheikh and moderator, our brother, man, and friend, for a very stimulating class. And I'd like to thank you all for your participation. It's my sincere hope that we all got the portion that we can work with. Let's take it and work with it and add that to that which Allah has been so grateful to let us have before. And at this time, I'll call for our Assistant Grand Governor, Sister D. Jones Bay, to read our divine warning, our proclamation. And while it's being read, Please give the reading your undivided attention, and please cease all movement.
Islam. Islam. I give praise to Allah and honor to His holy prophet Noble Quran, and honor to this our Sunday school and Koran class. Prophet warns all Muslims. Governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins. By order of Prophet Noble Ali. Peace.
Peace.
Islam Moors. Islam. I'd like to thank our Assistant Grand Governor, Sister D. Jones Bay, for reading our divine warning, our proclamation. That ends that particular Father universe,
Allah, Father universe,
Father love,
truth,
peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night, and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen.